like to call this meeting to order pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording will be made of this meeting. Start off, I'd like to open, we're going to do a public comment section here. Any questions on agenda items or comments? I'd like to open that up right now to the public. If anybody has anything.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll keep an eye out for any hands being raised. We didn't set a time limit. I'm thinking we do a 3-minute.
Yeah, 3-minute comments if anyone does.
Yeah, nothing yet. I think I'm seeing everybody.
Anybody in the waiting room? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I guess we'll move on then. On the agenda, we have an update from Eagle Mill. We sent a request out to Jeff Cohen. Did not hear anything back, but I understand he did give the select board an update. Was anybody happen to be there? Because it did not get recorded this past week.
I was there, Mr. Chair. I was there. First, just to clarify, I'm acting as the host tonight under Beth's account or the town account. My name is Matt Carlino. I was at the select board meeting. The update was simple. It was he's got a large funding gap with the cost of everything that's skyrocketed, and that they're going to apply to the housing and urban, to the state under the housing and urban for a grant to fill that gap, and that they're hopeful to get that. But of course, like everything, it's not going to happen until the fall. So it is going to take some time. So, and that's the gist of it. They did receive a permit to start the demolition of I believe that was the update, that they did receive a permit, but they still have to wait for the funding gap.
So he's not going to demo until he gets.
I don't believe so. I believe they're hoping for the funding first, and the grants are going to be awarded in the fall. If I can remember correctly, that was what basically the update.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, Peg, you have comment?
Yes. I personally thought that was going to be the update. And I gotta say, I'm very, very concerned that even this may not happen. If he doesn't get the funding, what is going to happen? And I'm hoping the selectmen will explore this.
I don't think there's anything that we can do or the town can do. He's waiting for his funding, and all we can do is ask for updates. We're rooting for him. We're hoping that he gets it.
But I guess I'm feeling like he should come personally to a meeting, and I understand about the update, but that fencing down there, something should be done. I mean, it's the tourists are all coming. You've heard me before. They're all coming, and that is your entrance and your leaving of it. And if he doesn't get the funding, I think possibly the selectmen should be figuring out what would the next step be. Because that's happened elsewhere and even recently. So
where are you thinking, Peg?
Nantucket, Massachusetts.
Yeah. and a developer failed there. What was the municipal react? I mean, what did they do to that? I mean, what can we do?
I don't
Do we-
know, Buck. I
Do we
guess.
take it over as a municipal
Well,
project?
that's a problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I don't know. And I guess, I mean, I don't have any
we could
answer.
yell and scream at Jeff Cohen that he hasn't, done as timely a project as we like, but I don't know what to do with the.
I don't either, but maybe there is, I'm just wondering if we should look into future possibilities in case this does not materialize, or the selectmen or somebody should, because it's a real eyesore to the town of Lee. And I know we're all rooting for him. I certainly am. We all are. But the more I read, the more I research, I'm getting a little nervous. So, you know my feelings. I've said them many times. So.
From what I understand, per the
Yes.
update, he would be moving forward if the funding, the rise in material costs. I mean, imagine someone
No.
building a house right now is looking
I
at
know. I know.
oh, you know what I was going to say. Okay.
No, I mean, I know that he's done this, but it's gone on, Matt, for 11 years. I don't want to
Well,
go back.
what I'm going to say is that, I don't know if maybe you don't know, but construction prices, material costs have gone up, 50% or more. I mean, a 2x4, for an example, used to be $2. They've gone up to $10. Now take that and add it to a project like this, what that does to material costs. Now, I'm not making excuses for them, but I can understand at this point that there's a funding gap. I don't think it's a hard excuse. So where does that money come from? I want him to start. Everyone wants him to start. He's got the permit. So what he's saying as his update is, we're going to apply for a grant. We're hopeful that Housing and Urban will approve it and fill the funding gap. So
Right.
let's hope that happens. And that's the update. It's about all we can do.
He did say $3 million, I think, at the one of the meetings he was at recently, which it's probably more now. I realize that, Matt. I understand everything is gone crazy.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So we don't need, if he wants to come in, he wants to come in, but that's the update at the select board that he gave.
Okay.
And that's where we are.
Okay. Thank you. I
Buck,
was at the meeting. I didn't stay that long. Thank you.
Peter's got his hand up, Buck.
Yep. Peter?
Yeah, I just, I take it that the bottom line is that we've lost another year. We had hoped to see something happen this construction season.
Yeah.
And that appears to be impossible now. I think at some point we need to talk to him about what else he would do there, if anything. Those buildings are getting quite derelict, and I agree with Peg that they aren't very attractive. I don't know whether they would need to be, rehabbed into housing or torn down and just leave the site flat. But I think at some point the town's patience has to run out. And I think this is the second summer that I expected construction to happen, and it hasn't. And I'm not saying it's his fault, but I don't think that he gets forever to make a decision here about what to do.
Well, just on that, his permits do have a 2-year life cycle.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
There's that part.
Yeah.
But what leverage do we really have? He owns it.
Well, if the buildings are derelict, and I guess the fence keeps them from being a nuisance.
Yeah. And a safety hazard.
Safety hazard, yeah. But at some point, I think there may be, laws that apply that allow towns to tear down derelict buildings. I'm not sure what the laws
If
are.
we take them.
If we take them.
Yeah. I think Kathy Hall was next.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the public.
yeah. You missed your public
We already had
comment
public
part.
comment.
You want
Kathy.
me-
We already had public comments. So, Mr.
I
Chair-
understand. Can I just
Mr.
say,
Chair, do you want to, Mr. Chair,
No.
do you want to allow from the public? We already had public comments.
We did have public comment, and this is kind of why we did that, not to get into this.
I understand that,
Well,
but Mr.
Go ahead, Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy. Don't mute yourself. Go ahead. Very
Thank-
quickly.
I will be very quick, because I couldn't make a comment before I knew what was being asked or talked about. So at any rate, all I can say is my house is one of those houses on the street. I'm not seeing it deteriorating in any way. I go by it every single day and say, hi, house, love you, bye-bye. Someday it's going to be torn down. We need to be patient. We have to keep remembering that pandemic, that 2-year pandemic stood in the way. So that was part of the timeline, not just the money part, but the timeline was interrupted by that horrible pandemic. The people that wanted to be part of that project had to rescind their whatever the thing is, the need to buy into that project because they were losing what they already had. So how could they buy into something new when they were losing their shirts on what they already had? So anyways, please,
Yes,
let's just
thank
be patient. Thank you. Thank you.
okay, before we go on, just Dave Forrest had a hand up.
Yeah,
I think we should let the board.
I let Kathy, and let's have Dave, and then we'll go to Jim quick, okay?
Yeah.
So much
Okay.
for the public comment.
We all know we've been more than patient for this guy. He tells us the same story year after year after year. We have nothing to force him to do anything unless he has funding. But myself, I go by these same houses that we all do day in, day out. Look behind the houses. Look at the mill itself. The longer this thing sits doing nothing, the worse it gets, the more it's going to cost. So, as I say, we can't force him to do anything. He has to come up with funding. But I don't believe the selectmen are ever going to come up with an idea. They're going to always refer it back to the planning board.
Well,
So,
what's the idea?
Well, the idea is maybe we could get Berkshire Housing, somebody to move ahead with some. We all know that we need affordable housing. That's one thing we definitely need. But I hate to see us tear down these houses and look at that mill. So I think people, when you go by, take a look behind the houses.
Yeah.
I mean, the mill is in deplorable shape. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it. But I wouldn't want to tear those houses down until some kind of decision is made, just in case we end up somebody that's interested in refabbing these and making housing again. So,
like Mr. Chair said, why don't we? He does have 2 years, every 2 years for his permit extension. We can ask him to come in for updates all we want, but maybe come extension time for the special permit, we have this stronger conversation at that time.
But I agree with the stronger conversation, but I'd hate to yank the permits and then we're going to end up at square one again.
Exactly.
That's kind of the issue, yeah. We have hope right now.
If his
As a
permit
board,
expires, it just becomes harder for him to move forward, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it doesn't serve our purposes.
No, that's why I'm just.
So I say, I think we have to keep him, know that we're concerned and we're interested for him to give us updates and not to go 6 months and tell us that it's going to be another year, because the years have marched on. As I say, these buildings are in horrible shape. Every time I look at the main roof on the mill building, I can't imagine what the inside looks like.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the building inspector is going to go in there and condemn the whole mess, and then what do we do?
They rebuild, right. Okay,
Thanks, Dave.
Jim?
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, Jim, just if we can keep it short, Jim.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
I just want to say this project's been a disaster from the start, and I wish we wasted our opportunity on this. You know, it was supposed to be a destination to go to. Now it's getting watered down, and I think you're going to end up with just empty buildings there from this guy. And I think you should put the heat on them. I don't know how you can do that, but longer it goes on, it's going to fall in, and I don't know what you can do. Maybe tear the whole place down, sell it to a developer, but I think Lee's in big trouble right now.
A developer owns it now.
Yeah, but a different developer, maybe. I mean, the town should stop giving this guy money. I mean, let's
We
face
don't.
it.
Well, we gave him a little
Little bit.
money to help fill the gap, but
Yes, exactly.
I don't think that's gone out yet until
No.
he does something.
until he starts,
Correct.
until he
But
starts.
he should show up to a meeting. He didn't show up at the selectmen's meeting. I mean, would he send a letter?
Well, he talked to the town administrator. He gave an update, or
Yep.
the town administrator relayed the conversation, the update, and I think I repeated that tonight.
Yes. yes,
What
you
the
did.
town administrator did. So, you know,
But I think we wasted a great opportunity there. Maybe at a different time it would have been a better project. I don't know. That's all I have to say.
I mean,
Thanks.
I guess you can always think that, but I disagree with that. We're here now.
I
We
think
gotta
you're going
do
to be
our-
here another 2
we gotta-
years doing the
we
same
gotta-
thing.
We got to do our best at this
There
point.
was other people prior to him in there and they never did anything with it either. So
So,
as far
Okay,
along as we've gotten.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jim. Okay. Anybody else from the
Matt,
board?
I don't think so. Let's move on to Woodland Road. Matt, can you allow me to share screen?
Yep. I think Pat is here for Woodland Road.
Yep.
Pat, you should be good to share.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, are we on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Patrick McColgan. I'm the land surveyor representing William Crawford, who owns property at 98 and 116 Woodland Road, which is just north of where the brook crosses the road. And he has two properties, his house lot that he lives on at 98, which is a really smaller lot, and his tax map 4, lot 31A. And he owns the abutting lot at tax map 4, lot 30, which is 116 Woodland. And what he's proposing to do is reconfigure the lot so his house lot will have a majority of the backland now with his house, and he's going to have the front lot, or what was shown as lot number 2 here, available to either sell, rent, or do something with. But it's going to be on a smaller lot. All the lots are serviced by town water, town sewer, so they get the reduction in area. So that's and this house lot will then be lot 1, which is 4.34 acres.
So run us down the road frontage, Pat.
Yeah, lot number 4 or lot number 1 has 225 feet. And then lot number 2 has I can't read it, 78.5 plus the 5866, which is more than the requirement.
Okay. So requirements of Form A, we have to okay that there is road frontage. That is our requirement to endorse this. I'm seeing a potential issue here, Pat, and I'm sure you do. With that garage.
Yeah, the garage has been there for probably, I want to say, oh gosh, long time. In the zoning act, actually, when something's been there for that long, if you look at the zoning act, section 7, there's a 6-year statute of limitations, and then there's a 10-year statute of limitations. And this has been there regardless of whether it was a building permit or not for more than 10 years.
Right, but we're creating that line next to it now, right?
No, that line's always been there. That line has not changed. That's the original lot line.
No, you're creating lot 2, correct?
We're not changing the lot line between 1 and 2, though. That lot line that's right by the garage has always been there.
You're
So
not
what are
showing.
Tell me what we're
Showing a
formatting
lot.
then.
What's that?
Go ahead, Buck.
Tell me what we're formatting.
We're
That's-
adding the back land from the original lot 1 and 2. If you look there, that field in the back. We're taking
Yeah.
that and giving it to his house lot, which is just south of that. So that garage where it shows 26 feet, that
Okay.
line is newly created. We're creating that line. That's why we meet zoning there. At
The back-
26 feet. Okay. That's new.
So just, you can see this, right?
Yeah.
So what is this line here?
That line is the old farm line between the two houses. It's been there for a lot of years.
And this is still recognized as lot 2 on our maps?
No, if you actually include the garage in the back, right there where the cursor is, that land in the back. That is part of lot number 2 right now.
Okay, you're not showing us that, right? Usually you give us a
Oh,
proposed.
yeah, no, right. If I wanted to, I could have cut a little line across the 2 where you see the 2. If you could actually move your cursor just south of the garage, right there
Yeah.
now go west. Go west from there.
Those
That's the
two?
original lot. And everything south of that was his original house lot that's shown on the
Okay.
survey plan and recorded at the registry of deeds. Yeah, for many, many years.
Okay, now I'm following, I think.
Yeah.
So
Peter
you're,
has, yeah.
you added these lines back here.
Yes, those are the new lines.
Okay,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
all right. Peter?
Yeah, so I think I understand, Pat. I think Buck just asked the same question I was going after, but what I think I understand is the line that that Buck was just showing with his cursor, the one east-west roughly, that line that says 196.4 feet.
Yeah.
No, below there, Buck.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
east-west one. That
one.
line originally went to the corner,
Yes.
and so
All
you've
right.
shortened it, right?
Yes.
You've made it shorter. Okay, I get it now.
And you added,
And
okay, you
Yeah,
added these here.
those are your new lines right there. Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. So this, all right. So he owned it all, but this lot 2 actually had the field and everything.
Yeah. You owned it under
Okay.
2 different deeds. Yep. 2 different
Gotcha.
conveyance. 2
All right,
different-
now
So
I
the-
follow.
So the main thing that's happening is the field is being transferred from the northerly house to the southerly house.
Yeah, that's his intent because he lives in a house that's in the south. He wants to do something with the house to the
Right.
north.
Okay,
Either rent
I
it
got
out
it.
or sell it.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Dave?
Yeah, Pat, I only one question. You said it's serviced by town water and sewer?
Yeah, serviced with town water. Sorry.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just wanted that corrected.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'll,
All right.
I'll motion to endorse the Form A here for William Crawford.
Okay.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
I'll
Peg
second.
seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Matt,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thanks,
Pat.
Pat.
And
Good
hey,
night.
where's the sea monsters?
No water out
None, no water, huh?
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have
Site plan.
site plan for Laurel. This is a site plan submission. I'm trying to, let me share it.
I think
Yeah, right.
Jim Scalise is here for this.
If you'd like, I could share my screen. That would probably be easier for you.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Just have Jim share his and he can walk us through it. This is a submission tonight, everyone. And we also have a special permit attached to this also, right, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'll walk you through it. Can you see my screen? I'm working on it here. Let's see if I can get my mouse to work. So let's see here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
This is just for Locust. We're here tonight to talk about the property located at 200 Laurel Street. And this kind of gives you Locust. This is Route 20. This is what I call, I guess, the State Police Barracks. So maybe it has a more official name than that. And this is the former Roadway Inn property. There's an old Roadway Inn here. This is coming down the hill down towards the Eagle Mill in town. I assume everyone kind of has an idea where that is. Okay. Here's a site plan that shows the existing condition. So the applicant tonight is Ecos Properties. Sam Nickerson is the applicant with Nick Arienti, our attorney, is both on the call here. So if you have any questions that I'm unable to answer, they're both here to help me out. In addition, so the location is the former Roadway Inn, as I said. The goal here is a change of use under section 6.1B. A special permit is actually from the planning board. And there's a little issue with my application in that regard that I'd like to just, if you allow me a minute to explain. Under the application, we initially thought we would apply for this project under multifamily housing. And as it turns out, there's a couple of issues. So this is a copy of the full application that we submitted to you folks. And this afternoon, I made a couple of edits. So it's actually not 9.2, which would go to the Board of Selectmen. It's 6.1 to the Planning Board. And the application materials are correct. There's no material change to the application, but there's a few typos, and I ran through and revised the form, and Sam signed it. And I've already submitted this to your planning secretary, so this form goes away. And other than that, the entire application remains exactly the same. And the narrative was written to explain our compliance with section 6.1. So it was just that cover letter error really in the form. But I apologize for any confusion that may have caused you. So kind of to run through that, the first thing we did is wanted to establish under that non-conforming section for non-conforming structures, uses, and lots, whether or not this property is non-conforming. And as we ran into that was kind of one of the reasons why we shifted gears, because originally, like I said, we were going to apply just under multi-housing. But the goal here is to convert the existing 24 hotel rooms into 16 apartments. So there's no physical changes proposed, meaning no expansion, no new parking lots, no real physical site plan changes proposed. It's all renovation of the existing building and existing facility as it sits there now. We're really just going to try to make it new and then convert the use to what we believe is a less intense use from a motel project to an apartment project. So it goes from transient to more a permanent residence. So the site plan includes a new one-way driveway. So what we're talking about doing is, if you let me zoom in here, is to make this driveway one way and angle the parking. That fits a little better, and that makes the parking numbers work. And we're proposing new landscaping and new lighting. And I included a lighting plan just to show you. The site's quite large, actually. And we're just showing some low lights along the driveway that don't spill onto the neighbor's property. So, and that's, maybe I went too fast here. That's the range of those lights is depicted by these gray shapes. You know, that's the limit of the light from that fixture, and they're cut off fixtures. So they just point towards the ground so they don't bother anybody nearby. So the existing building is non-conforming both dimensionally and by use. So the setback of this building here is only 21.5 feet, and the current dimensional requirement is 25 feet. So it's 3.5 feet in the setback. And then the use itself, the building was built in 1944 as a motel. The Lee zoning was enacted in 1963, and the motel is defined as a use. But back then in 63, the use was allowed by special permit, but it no longer is allowed in that zone. So we have a existing non-conforming use. So if you go through the application materials, I'm not sure how far you want to go through here. I'm available for more specific questions, but we've gave you a full narrative. We talked to Zip at the DPW just informally. We talked to the Board of Health. The Board of Health has a comment just that if we maintain the pool, we have to meet their requirements. Zip tells us that we don't have any, outstanding issues. We didn't obviously want to make changes to an area that had problems, and we don't have any problems that we're aware of. So if you look at things, here's our room count. We have less bedrooms. We go through impacts. Here's dimensional requirements. We meet all the requirements other than the one I mentioned, which is the 21.5 feet, and that's off by 3.5. Parking, 200 square feet per unit. That's 8. We have 15 or 16 spaces required. We have 18 spaces on site. Here's where you can see the narrative started to catch up with what the hell I was supposed to say originally. Again, my apologies as planning board. These are the special permit findings, which we can talk about, I think, at the public hearing. But we looked at things like trip generation. This use is considered less intense by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. So we don't have a parking issue. I'm sorry, a traffic issue. And then under sewer flow, apartments per bedroom, because we have less bedrooms, we have less sewer flow, and that's how sewer is accounted for. So that generally gives you kind of a quick overview of what we're proposing. We have a facility here where we're just what we believe is adaptively reusing an existing building. That's considered a smart growth principle here in Massachusetts, and we think this project's a great fit. We know there's demand for housing, and we're hopeful you'll look at this positively. And if you have any questions or comments, we're here to listen. Thank you.
Jim, first up, so tonight you understand we're just doing a submittal.
Yep. I just wanted to get through that a little bit. Sorry to drag it out on you. I screwed up that cover letter and I'm embarrassed. So
I'm kind of curious. Do you think it's going to require that second special permit though?
I do, because I think to change the use, it's the way for us to get there, because you have a requirement under multifamily that limits the number of units in a building.
Correct.
And I can't afford this project. Doesn't pencil out if I don't have the 16 units. So
we're under 6.1 B2 is our you're applying for a change of use.
Right.
That's our special permit. And then you think you'll have to go to the selectmen after that?
I don't think so. I think you folks have the power. You're the special permit granting authority under that non-conformity, and you can allow the change of use.
Huh. I think that one's probably for the lawyers.
Well, we brought one with us. We'll let him speak.
Yeah. We'll get Peter. You have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I had the same question, Buck. I'm not sure what I think yet. I haven't really spent a lot of time with this yet. 6.1 capital B does talk about non-conforming uses and allowing the use by the planning board special permit. So that I think argues for Jim's position. But there's another part in our bylaw, and I don't know where it is offhand, which says that multifamily housing is a special permit from the selectmen.
9.2.
That's 9.2. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Jim, what your reaction would be to the view that, I'm not saying I'm taking this view, but what would you think if the argument were presented that two kinds of special permits are needed? One from us to vary the requirements for setback and density, but that still you have to go to the selectmen for a approval of multifamily housing. And if you did that, just let me know parenthetically. I think that we now have in our bylaw a statement well, it's not actually in our bylaw yet because the Attorney General hasn't answered our review, but we are authorized and encouraged to do joint hearings whenever there's more than one special permit required. So we would have, I would hope, some sort of a joint hearing with the selectmen, something we've never done, but which I think could be arranged. So what do you think about the legal issue here, Jim?
I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I'll defer to Nick, but give him a chance to kind of think about that. But from my perspective, our goal was to have a successful project and to get the town's approval. And if it's deemed appropriate to get 2 special permits, I think this project has a lot of merit, and I don't see a lot of downside with this project. And I'd be very comfortable with your approach. Frankly, I would, I defer to my client. We haven't discussed it, and I defer to his attorney. But I mean, our goal internally here was to just make the project approvable in the under the town's bylaws. So
if we went ahead, I'm putting myself in your attorney's mind, which is always a dangerous thing to do. But if we went ahead with just 1 special permit from this board, I wonder if anybody opposed to the project, not to say that there are any, but anyone opposed might find a grounds to challenge it and slow it down. So it might be safer to just do the full Monty on procedure and go to both boards. I'd love to hear from your attorney now or later.
I'm happy to chime in again. It's Nick Arienti for the applicant, Ecos Properties. So yeah, there's no question. I think everybody's correct with what we had prior discussed, that the nature and history of the property is existing non-conforming based on all the factors that Jim cited. And there's really no question that the planning board would require a special permit in order to permit the change in use. I believe, and I'm just asking Jim, our engineer here, the question. I believe the performance requirements that you presented in the existing special permit application that were included in this packet for site plan review are based on meeting the criteria, the performance requirements of of multiple dwelling developments, the Lee section 9.2. Is that right?
Yeah, I went through that list very carefully. The only requirement that I struggled with was the density. You have a requirement, I'm going off of memory here, that you could have buildings with a maximum of 12 units per building. And hopefully I'm remembering that correctly, but we have a building with 16 units in it here because it's a redevelopment project. It's what fits and what makes sense. We certainly don't want to tear part of the building down, and the way it's lays out, it's just a kind of a graphical solution to the problem we're dealing with, a footprint here. And so I was trying to make that fit. And then ultimately, as it turns out, the project's non-conforming. So, from my legal opinion, which is a layman's opinion, of course, it made a lot of sense just to change the use from, a transient hotel, motel use to a non-transient apartment use, which is less intense under that section. So that seemed like the way to get there, the simplest way. But adding another step, that wouldn't surprise me if a lender attorney had the same question. I mean, I've seen that come up personally in development. So, but again, Nick, if maybe there's a case or something that you could steer us to that would answer that question.
Hey, Jim, what's the total square footage of the building?
Nick had that in his notes, but his number was too high. It was like,
it's only a hair total under 8,000, over 8,000 square feet. So you're under the 10,000 that we required under section 3.
Oh yeah, we're under 10. Absolutely.
You're under 10 for the A-Rod.
Yeah. Oh, we're over. Right. We looked at that. Nick brought that up.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the other issue and then circle back to the primary issue. So the question about, I think, the permissible number of units. I think the theory doesn't change based on that limitation as far as existing goes. We do have what's known as an existing non-conforming use. So in this case, having demonstrated that, I do, I'm strongly of the opinion that not only could the use be converted to the multiple dwelling as is being presented, but the ability to expand or alter that existing non-conforming use in this district would potentially be governed by the criteria of special permit granting, the 6 finding criteria that would be required, as well as the non-conforming standard, which is the applicant needs to prove that the new proposed use is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use. In other words, I think if he can meet that finding criteria under section 6.1, and as you're suggesting 9.2, that he'd be entitled even if the proposal is more than 12 units, again, because of the fact that it's existing non-conforming for use. Now, and again, the demonstration would have to be that the proposed use at 16 would be more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing use. So I think you maintain the same standard. But I think it's for substance purposes, the application would be a duplication of the existing submittal to the planning board, more or less. So as far as additional burdens on the applicant, if that's required or if that's suggested, I think we would want to discuss that carefully. And I think that may be good advice. I think if the property certainly was not existing non-conforming, then more than 12 units without a doubt would not be permissible. So I think this is just one of those unique cases where there's able to be a conversion and or an expansion or alteration of the existing nonconformity so long as we meet the criteria, okay, of the law and chapter 40A. And I think that's what's being proposed here. But if we need to clarify that and that's the middle of the, or not, for second application to the select board, I think that can be done using the same logic and the same submittal materials as has been presented to the planning board.
Thanks, Nick.
Peter's got his hand up.
Okay, Peter, go ahead.
Just to clarify, is there only one basis for nonconformity now, and that is the number of units, or are there other setback or other things?
Yeah, there's a 10-foot setback requirement under the development standards for multifamily under paragraph K, and we have issue with 2 and 10. 2 and 5. 5 says the minimum side yard requirements for any proposed multiple dwelling located on a lot which abuts a lot and residential use shall be increased by 10 feet. So I would, that's a non-conforming dimension, so I know that would fail. So I had 2 and 5. So if the way this would go, I guess, if we follow this strategy, if we kind of talk this out, at least, as we're brainstorming this, under development standards, I would need a special permit from the planning board for the nonconformities, which would be the density and the setbacks. And then I would go to the select board. It could happen at one meeting, but you would have to act first. And then we would have the select board act on the allowability of multifamily in the zone, which is allowed by special permit. That'd be my legal guess.
Yeah, so I think we can do for you tonight everything that you need done here at this meeting. I think we can warn a special permit hearing and set a date for it and mention that it's under 6.1B, and then leave to you the question of whether you want to file a supplemental special permit application with the selectmen.
Well, it's funny, is by accident, I already filed it.
Oh, a separate application?
Well, I filed 9.2 with this application because my staff did. So I filed 9.2. I just submitted another application for 6.1B today.
Oh, all right. So I was trying to avoid forcing you into a quick choice, but it sounds like
I was going to withdraw the one for 9.2. So I guess
see.
that's the question
Well-
on my team is whether we actually follow through and withdraw it or not.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Jim, I would say I don't know whether if we did a special permit hearing, we could definitely, if we made the right findings, we could definitely waive the number of units and the setback and allow you to proceed. But whether we could definitively authorize the change in use would be something I'm not sure of. Even if we did it, I'm not sure it would stand.
Okay.
So that's a question, I think, for you and your lawyer and your client to work on.
All
And
right.
just whether you want to proceed with the selectmen's special permit. But I think for the planning board's purposes, we can do everything you need tonight, I think,
Agreed.
Mr. Chairman.
And we're just trying to submit tonight is my understanding.
Submit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I was hoping for, is just an opportunity to speak with you folks and kind of iron this out.
Yeah, like, Peter, I think you're on the right track. The change of use, that we're given in 6.1, I don't think that, I don't see it. I think everything is here for that. The application for multiple dwelling, that would be to the selectmen. So,
Mhm. I agree.
I'll entertain a motion to accept site plan as presented.
Are we, I know we're gonna, accept the site plan tonight, submittal. Are we also going to,
Set a special permit hearing date. Yep.
Are we gonna accept the special permit submittal?
Same.
It's the same, and then it's obviously schedule.
Yep.
Public hearing, okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the site. Can I do them together? Do you want them together or separate?
Sure. Yep.
A motion that we accept the applicant at 200 Laurel Street for site plan submittal and special permit submittal.
Under 6.1B, right, Matt?
Perfect. Under 6.1B.
I'll second.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We need to, if we accept it, we need to set a date for a hearing, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So
I mean, I don't think it has to be part of the motion, though.
Okay, well, we have a limited time shot clock on this.
We do.
well, I think we can work out the schedule when Beth is back and send notice to everyone. I think everyone will agree to that.
I mean, it's looking like the 25th to me. We could probably,
Is there any objection to that? Could we just set it tonight? I feel better leaving the meeting with a date in mind. If
Sure. I'm good with that.
everyone good?
I'll make a motion after this passes, Matt. We'll let yours go through.
Okay.
Will Beth have time to send out everything by that date?
We have to have,
2 weeks.
I just, sure.
Yes, she has time.
Okay. Okay. Thank
She'll
you.
be back Tuesday, next
Okay.
Tuesday, I believe.
and that'll be cutting it a little close, but I think she can do it.
Yeah, she's pretty efficient.
Oh,
All
I know.
right, so we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. I'll do a roll call vote. Peter,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. And now we need to set the special permit hearing date.
I'll move to set it for July 25th at 6 PM.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay, Jim,
Thank
sound
you.
good?
I appreciate it very much. I'll iron out the bugs in this thing for you next week and we'll be ready for the 25th.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Good night.
Okay.
Aye.
Next up, we have a discussion of alternate members. board members. Conrad's been here listening to this. How we been doing
We're good so far.
so far?
You've
So we
done,
had-
you've done this before, right?
Boy, but you know, you find yourself trying to go through the bylaws quick and come up with quick answers
Oh, yeah.
because it's not all good off of memory. We have
Conrad,
yourself.
I appreciated your email with your input on our special
Yes.
permit.
Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks. I appreciated the knowledge there. So thank you.
Yeah, I've done a few Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, did quite a few of them actually. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a member's slot open here. If you think I can be of any benefit, I wouldn't mind sitting in for a while.
That'd be great. We also have, I believe, Harold Sherman has shown interest in also being an alternate. So we've had two before, and I don't see any reason why we couldn't have two again.
I agree.
Anybody else?
I'm good with it. I think the more, the better.
Sure, that's fine. Could I just ask Conrad, I know you're semi-retired according to your note. How much time would you have available to be on the board? I mean, I think that we welcome people who are alternates to come and participate regularly if you want to, on a regular basis, and then speak. And you won't get to vote in most cases, but you'd get to speak. And then if there's a special permit and one of the regular members is absent, then we would pick one or the other of the alternates. Can you just speak about how likely you are to be able to make meetings?
I should be around. I don't travel anywhere near as much as I used to. A lot of my mergers and acquisition activities right now are all virtual. I've been attending hearings in Denver from here. I mean, I don't have to go out there anymore. All this stuff I'm doing down south is all virtual. So I'm not traveling anywhere near the way I was before. Yeah, plus I'm supposed to be semi-retired. So yeah, I do have the time now. I do have a place down in Florida. I've been going back and forth, probably like every second or third month for 8 to 10 days. But I work down there as well. So I mean, you're doing stuff virtual. I'm not sure when you're going back into in person or not. But
I think we have to go back in person pretty soon.
Mid-July.
Yes, I'm going to be
Okay, thank
around. I'm going to be around. So, if nothing else, I mean, I could probably offer some assistance on the technical side. I do have the architectural and the civil background on it, and like I mentioned in my letter, I've been a planning board, zoning boards, conservation. I've got a lot of done a lot of presentations in a lot of different states. So, I mean, if there's anything I can add to the discussion, that's great. I know it's not a voting position, but again, if I could offer some input, if that helps you, I'd be willing to do that.
I can say I wish we had your advice before we voted on Starbucks.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it's the kind of location where if you got an existing building, you'd like to retain it. You know, there's a certain CapEx cost to, raise and rebuild, and basically the building technically probably should have been leveled. It should have been moved to the left, a new structure and, a counterclockwise drive-through configuration like a McDonald's, like a Burger King, like a Dunkin'. That's typically the way you would have done it. And you get all your parking on the right side of the building. Your egress lanes, your bypass lanes will be on the left side of the building. It's far better. We can do them ground up, raise and rebuild. But in this case, the applicant chose to keep the building where it is. I'm sure it was a good, sound building. It makes a lot of sense to rehab what they got. They probably saved a lot of money in doing so, but there are compromises in the site concept, the site traffic flows that are involved. So, and I think you're going to see that here. It's just kind of disturbing when you drive by there, and like even tonight, the dumpster enclosure is wide open and it's right there in front of the building. It's unfortunate, but
I did notice they're doing that. That looks worse,
No,
unfortunately.
If we wait 5 years, the bushes will get bigger.
yeah.
Hopefully. Who was first? Peg or Matt? I didn't see.
I was.
Okay.
Well, on that last note, can we send a notice to please, make sure the doors are shut? I mean, really, that is kind of important.
We might have a punch list for them at some point, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about that tonight, but anyways, I just wanted to say that I think we're very fortunate that Conrad wants to put up with us, and his vast knowledge through the years, I think, will just be a benefit for us in the town. And so I just think it's great. And I think with our master plan coming up and our split zoning issues and maybe looking at our zoning classifications all over town, I think this is a great timing. So I'm all for it. And I'm also for having Harold Sherman also as an alternate member. So I think it's great.
Peg?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm thrilled that you applied, Conrad. Thank you. I did read your letter, and I thought it was really well put together. I was just curious. You mentioned you had done some stations in the New York Thruway.
Yes.
Yes. As you go north, I was wondering, did you go like near the Adirondacks? There's some beautiful stations up there, or what do you call it, that are on the Thruway or down. I noticed the New Jersey Parkway and the other places, but some of them are really quite lovely when you go in them, and they're also creatively designed too, where they tell you, go this way if you want to go this route, or they're really very, very nice, some of them. So I appreciate your time and your effort, and I hope you will join us and enjoy your time with us.
Yeah, the New York Thruway, we just took over. There's 27 locations out there. We actually have 10 that are under construction right now that are strictly raised and rebuilt. So it's like a $450 million project for, it's quite a good project.
They're really quite a lot nicer than some of ours in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
When you go into them, you think, oh my goodness, this is quite nice. So
yeah, we're doing a lot with drive-throughs and double drive-throughs, and it's they're very unique, and they're kind of fun.
Picnic areas, some of them, and
Picnic
different
areas,
places.
yes.
Really nice.
EV charging is big now with electric cars. EV charging, electric cars.
Oh,
We're doing a lot with that right now. It's you're gonna see more of that as you go in here in the future.
great. Well, thank you, and thank you for applying. I'm glad you did, and I welcome you to the planning. If we have to, I guess, vote, but I certainly welcome your input. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and what everyone said, Conrad, I think your expertise and knowledge with development, and especially the commercial side of it, a lot of it we don't notice right away, but on the prints you'd be able to pick up on for us. So we are looking for a recommendation to the selectmen, I believe is how it works.
No, I'll motion.
I just want to make sure. Can we have two? We can have two?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
It doesn't say a number.
Okay.
I'll motion that we recommend Conrad Decker to the select board to be appointed as an alternate member to the planning board.
I'm going to second that motion.
Are we going to deal with Sherm now or not?
Well, we have to finish this vote and then we can go with Sherm, right?
Oh, okay.
Next.
I thought you could put them
You
together.
want to do
Okay.
both? I'll amend that motion to include both Conrad Decker and Harold Sherman recommended to the select board to be appointed to the planning board
As alternates.
as alternates. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how much does it pay?
Same as us.
Okay, no, I just curious.
0.0.
Okay, sounds good. No 1099.
Yeah, no. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Dave. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay, moving on. We have a sign permit. Let me see if I can get this up.
Fun.
Yeah,
I looked at it.
there, I mean. We're looking at it sideways, but it's 4x4, 16 square feet. And in CBC, freestanding sign shall not exceed 16 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's half the distance to the road. It's not in term, well, it could be either way, but I don't think there's any illumination on it, did they?
I didn't see any of that information.
Internally
I don't-
illuminated. It is internally illuminated.
It
Right.
is, okay.
White LEDs.
Yeah, I see that. Which, there it is, legal,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
right? So that building will become working again. That's good.
Is that replacing the existing sign that's shown in the photo?
I'm guessing so.
Okay.
Looks about the same placement.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Motion to endorse.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Dave Forrest, motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Let's see. What else do we have? Any other topic? Go ahead, Peg.
Thank you. This isn't with the zoning, but the Historical Commission, not commission, society is giving or having a free exhibit the month of July in the Lee Library in the Peter Scoporo room, and it's all about veterans. So if any of you, please stop by, please see the exhibit. And it's a work in progress. We missed some of the younger veterans because we couldn't find as much information on them. So, but if you get a chance, you might want to just go by, look in the room. It'll be open to the public. It's free. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thanks, Peg.
Buck?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can we talk just about the town plan? Is there, I feel like that should be a regular item on the agenda.
It has. Had not heard back from Chris Britton was circulating our request for applicants. We have not heard back from that. I'll inquire with him and see where we're at, and hopefully we can have a list and get a commission together on this so
Okay,
we can get rolling.
okay. Could we just put it on the agenda every time?
Why don't we? I think you're right. Yep.
Is this going to be a continuing supervision problem unless we
Right.
make it routine?
You're
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Absolutely right. And it's looking from, unless state legislature changes anything, our next meeting will be our last full virtual. Then we're going to have to go to hybrid. So
Let's hope they extend it.
I think it gives people more of an option doing it this way. Yeah, you know, like you can be anywhere and still sit in on the meeting. With hybrid, you're going to be able to, which is good. I believe the rules with that, we'll have to have a quorum in person, and whoever is the chair of the meeting has to be in person. So.
All right, depends how hot it is at the next meeting.
You can come in shorts. We won't judge. Ties are optional.
We'll make do.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Night.
thanks.